Welcome to our channel Programming with Praveen Khanna. Today's our topic is exception handling in Python. Actually, here exception is the error. Here we have two types of errors. First one is syntax error. Second one is exception error. Here syntax errors will stop the program execution, but whereas in the case of exception error, it will not stop execution of the program. Without stopping the execution of the program, the flow will be there in this exception handling. Actually, syntax errors are misspelled keywords, missing colons, unbalanced parentheses, not giving comma, full stop, like that. They are syntax errors. If we give syntax errors or runtime errors or logical errors, the program execution will stop in middle. The program will be aborted. But whereas in the case of exception handling, here it is a special case. We cannot stop the execution of the program. It's a special mechanism. It will give suggestion where we have the error. Here, this exception handling, in this exception is the error, how we handle the errors, how we overcome the problem without stop the execution of the program. It's a special or separate error handling mechanism from normal code. Here, exceptions are raised when program is syntactically correct, but result is error. The error does not stop execution of program. When an error occurs, error or exception, it gives error message without stop execution of the program. Here, you see here two types of errors. Na? First one is the syntax error. This is the example for the syntax error. Here you see here we are using try. Here in this we use numerator is 10, denominator is 10, denominator is 0. Result is numerator by denominator. What is the numerator? 10 by 0 is infinity. So this is the runtime error. We cannot get the output. What we will get error usually, that output is 0 division error, division by 0. Okay, this is the runtime error. The program will be aborted. The program execution will be stopped in middle for this program. This is the syntax error. But whereas in the case of exception handling, you see here we use here in this try and except. Here what we are going to raise the error, we keep in the try. Try is a keyword or reserved word or predefined word. The meaning is already predefined by the developer. Here what we are going to raise the errors or exceptions, we have to keep that in the try block. This try block will test the code for the error. What we are going to raise the error, we have to write in the try block. We write in the try block numerator is 10, denominator is 0. Result is numerator by denominator. Here numerator value 10, denominator is 0. 10 by 0 is infinity. So here we have to get runtime error. The program has to be aborted, stopped in middle. But it will not stop. It's not a general program. It is separate. It is apart from other general programs. The concept is called exception handling. This except is a keyword. Here we write the handling of the error in this block. In the except block, what we are going to handle the error without stop the execution of the program, we write in the except block. You see here in the except block we write print error, denominator cannot be 0. So this is the base exception. We have many types of exceptions are there. Here predefined or built-in exceptions are there. This is the base. This is the standard except for overcome the errors. You see here output is error, denominator cannot be 0. Here this is the single line comment exception error. Here by using base except we are handling the error. Actually here program has to be stopped, but if we use this except, the program will not be stopped in middle of the execution. We will get the output. What is the type of error? We will get the output. Smoothly we can run the program. Here we use try and except in this program. In the try block, what we raise the error or exception, we write the code. We keep the code in the try block. This try block will test the code for the error or exception. In the except block, what we are going to handle, the error or exception. You see here one more program, that is by using except zero division error, program of exception zero division error. Here you see here try block, numerator 0, numerator is 10, denominator is 0. Result is numerator by denominator. 10 by 0 is infinity. We have to print that result, but here I am, we cannot get that output. So to overcome the problem of stop the execution in middle of the program, we use except keyword. Here type of the except is zero division error. I am using here zero division error. You see here, print denominator cannot be 0. Here we have many built-in exceptions are there. Among that, zero division error is one of the exceptions. We will get the output is denominator cannot be 0. Next here we are going to see the built-in exceptions. Various exceptions are there. Here further description is also given. First one, arithmetic error exception, that is raised when error in numeric calculations. If we have any numeric calculation errors, then we use the exception of arithmetic error. Second one is base exception, standard exception, that is the base class for all exceptions. For any error you can use that exception for the type of the error. To handle the error you can use the base exception, that we will see in the further programs. Next one, floating point error. This exception description is it raises when floating point calculation fails. Next one, import error exception. It is raised when importing module does not exist. One more exception is indentation error. This exception is raised when indentation is not given correctly. Next, one more, that is the index error exception. It is raised when index does not exist. One more exception, that is key error exception. It is raised when a key does not exist in dictionary. In the dictionary, we have two values, key and value. If the key is not there, then we will use this exception. Next, type error is one of the exceptions. It is raised when two different types are combined. If we add integer and string, it is not possible. At the time we raise, the type of error is type error. In that, what we want to display the message, we can write. Next, one more exception is zero division error exception. It is raised when a second value in a division is 0. Now we have seen that program. In the numerator, in the denominator, if we have 0, then we use the zero division error exception. Without this also, we can use the base except. In that also, we can raise the error in the print. Print is the output function. Next, here actually we have two types of errors now. Syntax error, first one, second one, exceptions. These syntax errors will stop the execution of the program. Actually, what are the syntax errors? Misspelled keyword, missing colon, unbalanced parenthesis, semicolon, comma, colon, all these are syntax errors. One more, that is the exception type of error. It is raised when internal event occur which change normal flow of program. Actually, in middle the program will stop the execution, but we use exception, the flow will not be stopped. That is the difference in between these two types of errors, in between syntax error and exception error. In syntax error, the flow will be stopped, execution will be stopped. If we use exceptions, the flow, the execution will not be stopped. What is the type of the error? We write in except block. According to our own choice of the message, we can give that. I'm going to use the base except. This base except can be used for any type of error. Here you see here first one, program for base exception of except. Here in the try block I wrote print x. In the except block I wrote print exception occurred. Actually in this program I didn't give the value for the x. So here we have to get the error. But here we cannot get the error. Instead of that, what we write in the except, what we are going to handle that type of error, we write in the except block in the print of output statement. That is, exception occurred, error occurred. The output is exception occurred. Why? Because we didn't give the value for the x. For the same program, we can give the type of the error of the except. Here you see program without base exception of except. Now I am not using base except. Instead of base except, I am using which type of error if I want to give the value for the variable. You see here in the try block, I write print x except name error. Here I am giving the exceptional type. What is that? Name error. For that variable, I didn't assign any value. So that is the exception of name error. So in the print, x is not defined. X is not initialized with any value. What we want, we can write. It's our choice in the print. You give the x value or x value is not initialized. According to our choice, we can write in the print. To overcome the flow or execution of the program, we write in the except. You see here, after the except name error, I wrote one more except base. But here I have given type of the exception of name error. So that will only be displayed. The output is x is not defined. But here after the except name error, one more is there under the except, something wrong, that will not be displayed. Why? Because here this error will be matched to the first exception only. That is the name error. That's why what I wrote in the name error block, x is not defined, that's only displayed. Next one, next program with base class exception and else. I am using here else with the base of exception. You see here in the try block I wrote print hello string. I wrote in the except block I wrote something went wrong. In the else block I wrote nothing wrong. You see here our output is hello. Actually here the what we write the string in the print that will be displayed in the try. Okay, that is hello. Next, immediately except is there, that is something wrong. Actually here it's not mistake. Okay, so else will be here in the try block print hello is not a mistake. Here we didn't have any error. That's why instead of except, else block will be executed. So what is the output of the else block? Nothing wrong. First one hello, that is correct only. Next one here no exception in the try block, that's why except is not executed. So here else is executed, that is the nothing wrong. Hello and nothing wrong is the output. One more program for exception handling using try and except. These two are keywords. These two are reserved words, try and except. We use these two in exception handling concept in Python. Actually here using exception of type error. We have various types of exceptions now, built-in exceptions. Among that we are using now type error. Type error, why we use? if we want to add two different types, it's not possible. To overcome that problem, to not stop the execution of a program, we use exception of type error. You see the program, x is 5, y is hello. X is the integer, y is the string. Is it possible to add these two? Is it possible to add integer and string? No, it's not possible. Actually, what we are going to raise the error, we write in the try block, that is z is x plus y. Is it possible to get output? No. Now what we are going to handle, we keep the code in the except block. Here I am not using base except. Here we can use base except, but I am not using base except. Here I am using the related type of this except is type error. Suited for this problem, exception is that except is type error, except type error. Here we are using exception of type error, that is the except type error. It is suited for this program, that's why we are using. Without type error also we can write in the except, that is the base exception. But here we have built-in exception, that's why I'm using type error. Here under the except type error exception, we are writing in the print error cannot add an intent string. What we want, we can give that own message in this. It's not possible to add two different types. Whatever we want, we can write in the print. Here, what I wrote, error cannot add an integer and string. That's my output. Program that is using exception of index error. Program for exception handling using try and except, using exception of index error. We have various types of exceptions, built-in exceptions. Among that I'm using index error exception. Here what's the index error exception? When index is out of range for a list or tuple or any sequence types, then we use the index error. If we go out of the boundary, then it's not possible to get the output. At the time we use the index error. We are not able to trace the index. At the time we use index error. You see here, program is try. Under the try block, even numbers. Here, in the place of space, we have to use underscore. Space is not allowed. Even numbers is a keyword. It's an identifier. You see here, even number is an identifier, or it is an identifier, okay, or it is a variable. You see here, even numbers is 2468. It is a list. List is enclosed in between square brackets. 2468 are the elements of the list of even numbers. Our list is even numbers. So here I am going to display my list in the print of output statement, in the print method, in the print function, even numbers of 5. Here for the list of even numbers, 0 index is 2, index 1 is 4, index 2 is 6, index 3 is 8. My index is stopped with 3 indices or 4 indices values 0, 1, 2, 3. But here I am going to display fifth index. Here we stopped with 3 index value only. 0th index is 2, first one index is 4, 2 index is 6, 3 index is 8. But how can I display even numbers of 5? Fifth index is not there. In my list 0, 1, 2, 3. My last index value here, this is the 0 index value, this is the 1, 2, 3 index value. These are the indices values, but how can I display the fifth index value? It's not possible. So here we keep the raising of the error in the try block. So here we will get the error. So I want to handle that error. To handle that error, that code I have to place in the except block. But here type of built-in exception is zero division error. But it's not suited for this. Here it is not a zero division error. But I wrote here in this code. It will not be displayed, it will not be executed. One more exception is there, that is index error. Now here I'm asking out of the boundary of the index, so we will get the error. To overcome that problem, to not stop the execution of the program, here I'm going to use index error. My exception is index error. So that output is print index out of boundary, index out of bound. What I am asking? Fifth index. That fifth index value is not there in my list of even numbers. So here it's a chance to get error, that is the index out of bound. To overcome that problem of aborting, to stop the execution of the program, that handling the error, I kept the code in the exceptional index error of except. I kept the code print index out of bound. So here like that, by using various types of exception handling, inbuilt exception handling methods in exception handling, we can overcome without stop the execution of a program. Thank you for watching.